Hello, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying the first sign of spring with all of the flowers starting to come up from bulbs and a general kind of smell of mountain heather in the air. There is some promise that the sun will be with us again for longer times soon. I hope you've had a good week. We're going to do some more footwork variations in this lesson in our continuing preparation for partnership series based on collegiate shag. But before we do, let's warm up. As usual, I'll put on a piece of music and just dance any combinations of the things you already know. I will do the same thing, but the idea is not that you're trying to follow me. As always, just dance. Six, seven, eight.
My baby wants a hot bath. Ain't nothing that can stop that. My baby wants a hot bath, so I'm gonna put on the hot bath. My baby in a hot bath. Ain't nothing that can stop that. My baby wants a hot bath, so I'm gonna put on the hot bath. I know it might be a squeeze, but I'm inclined to believe. Through gratuitous turn, so hot right in, they're gonna give you a scrub. My baby wants a hot bath. Ain't nothing that can stop that. My baby wants a hot bath, so I'm gonna put on the hot bath. My baby wants a hot bath. Ain't nothing that can stop that. My baby wants a hot bath, so I'm gonna put on the hot bath. Oh sister, oh brother, wouldn't wanna bathe with any other. My baby wants a hot bath, so I'm gonna put on the hot bath. I don't wanna let you down, but put back on your dressing gown. I know it might be a thrill, but I can't afford the hot water bill. My baby wants a hot bath. Ain't nothing that can stop that. My baby wants a hot bath, so I'm gonna put on the hot bath. My baby ain't happy with that. Still standing on the bathroom mat. Passing up feel like a cat, 'cause I didn't put on a hot bath. Oh baby, you know it's a fact. Because let's get fat man fat. Wasn't with the price of hot water bills. I would have already run you a bubble bath. Oh, Rama, you should get your priorities right. If you don't give me what I want, I'm gonna leave you in the middle of the night. My baby wants a hot bath. Ain't nothing that can stop that. My baby wants a hot bath, so I better put on the hot bath. How she did it, never run me down. How she did it, never run me down. How she did it, how she did it. Oh, me, how she did it, never run me down. How she did it, never run me down. How she did it, how she did it. Oh, me, mama, oh, mama. How she did it, run me down.
Okay, hopefully you're feeling warmed up after that. I will, by the way, for the last of these lessons, just before the AGM, be doing one lesson on the different ways that you dance and adapt to dancing to fairly fast music or dancing to very slow music. And if you find sustained dancing to that sort of pace a problem, then hopefully that class will help. Anyway, some variations. One simple variation which turns up in quite a lot of swing dances, I think it originated in rock and roll, so I think it's quite a late variation, but I may be wrong about that, is chugs. And that is something that looks like this. I'm going to dance slightly across you because it's easier to see, so it looks like this. So you can see there are several things going on. With the feet, I'll come back that way. I'm beginning, let's say that I'm standing on my right foot. Again, we'll do this in both footednesses. I'm going to sit slightly and put my left heel, mirror reverse or not, it doesn't matter whether to do both ways, my left heel on the ground with my left leg straight. So my right leg is bent because I'm sitting. Sitting means that this bit is sticking backwards slightly as if I'm kind of leaning back on a bar stool. That's the first part on the odd numbered beat. Then I'm going to shoot my pelvis forward and bend my front foot so it's now on the toes, and my right heel is tucking in behind my left heel like that. My right foot, although it's just touching the ground, it's not really weight bearing, and the foot's come forward. So we were like this, and it's come forward to do that tuck behind. Now I'm going to transfer my weight back onto the right foot and shoot the left heel forward again, catch up, forward, catch up. And you can see that the pelvis is moving backwards and forward here, because here it's backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. And although the legs can feel quite unnatural, there is a natural kind of swing to the body with that backwards and forwards, the sit back and the kind of pelvis forward. Well, it's really your knee forwards, but that takes your pelvis as well. And that kind of swing in the body makes this seem like a reasonable dance move, even though what's going on the legs is peculiar. But of course, shag can be danced in a goofy way. It doesn't have to be, but it can be, and this is one of those moves that helps it look goofy. Let's do it again, starting on the same leg you just started with. So we'll be doing this on the one, and I'll count slowly. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll be transferring weight fully on that 8. So we're starting with our weight, in my case, on the right foot, and it's going to end with my weight on the right foot, as if nothing had ever happened. Let's try it again, same foot. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is not just a solo move, by the way. I could do this with my partner next to me, and my partner would feel the bodying that's happening with what's happening with the pelvis and would follow this. So we can do it more solo, because shag dancers, as I've shown you before, sometimes break away from each other, do solo stuff and then come back together, but we can also do it connected. Right, let's do it on the other foot. So I'm now going to start with my weight on my left foot, the one nearest the screen, but again, just reverse what you were doing before. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now let's figure out how to put this. It's not complicated if you put this into the dance, so I'll turn my back to you. Because we've just done that as an 8 count, I'll use 8 count shag as the ways in and ways out. Of course, you could do it from 6 as well. Let's go for it. So it will just be, again, I'm going to start with my weight on the right foot the first time for doing this. So I'd be doing my step, flick, step, 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 flick, step, step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready to start a whole new basic step, flick, step, 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 flick, step, step. I didn't travel much on those chugs because I'm trying to dance far enough down here you can see my feet, but not actually to run into the door. You can do this more or less in place, but normally you would travel. Let's do that together then. I'll still turn my back to you because it's probably a bit less confusing. I will travel less than you probably will. So an 8 count basic, starting with the weight on this foot, 8 beats of chugs, and then another 8 count basic, and we'll also be starting with the weight on the same right foot. 5, 6, 7. So I'm waiting with my weight on this foot. We'll be stepping on the left as our first act. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chug and chug and chug and chug and 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, once more. Bit faster. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Let's now do the whole thing on the other leg. So I'm going to begin with my weight on this left leg. Slowly first. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it a little bit faster. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'll put some music on, dance some stuff, and come into this. I should say, of course, you can use the fact that we're doing 8 count basics. You can either do what we just did, which is do a complete basic. So that way, if I'm starting on this foot, putting this foot down, then I'll be starting putting that same foot forward for the chugs. Or I can do half a basic, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can put the other one down. So if I do that, I'd effectively be doing half a basic, parachuting in 8 counts of chugs, and then finishing the unfinished basic. And then we'll still have our complete 16 beats, but we'll have had the chugs in the middle. I'm suggesting this not to add to confusion, but because this way you can practice it on whichever leg you want to. If you do a whole basic before the chugs, you'll be starting chugs, putting forward the foot that you were dropping on to start a basic. If you do half a basic before you do the chugs, then you'll be putting the other foot forward when you start the chugs. Let's put some music on. 6, 7, 8. Okay, we'll have more chance to practice that later because I'll do a couple more things and then we'll have a dance where we can just put them all in as we like. So this next one is borrowed completely from jazz steps. It works well in those little bits where we break away to do solo shag. I think it would be very difficult to lead this in partner shag. I'm not saying impossible, but really I'm teaching this in the spirit of the breakaway stuff. Partly because if you do it partnered, you can only do footwork, whereas there are hand decorations if you break away. And it's a step called the boogie back. And the boogie back, I'm going to turn my back to you. So bend your legs a little bit more than you would for regular shag, so I'm coming down a bit further. And the very basic thing of the boogie back, we're going to decorate it a lot more like this, but the basic thing is to be going da-da, flicking, taking your feet going. We can do this in either sense. I'm going to go right left. So I'm going to shoot my hips back, going right left, pause, right left, pause, right left, pause, right left, pause. I know you can just hop back like a kind of backwards kangaroo, but because of decorations, practice it this way with this gada, hold, gada, gada, gada. Okay? 5, 6, 7, 8. Gada, 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 gada. Okay? Then to decorate, we're going to flick this. If you do it in the same sense as me, we'll change mirroredness in a moment. But if you've got your weight on the left foot, flick the right foot forward, then do the gada. So in timing, this is going to be on an even beat. So for example, it would be 2 for 3, 4 for 5, 6 for 7, 8 for 1. And that's where the gada matters, because this foot's in the air before it goes gada. Let's try that together. 5, 6, 7, 8. Flip gada, flip gada, flip gada, flip gada. Good. I'm going to turn towards you and I'm going to mirror for a moment, so that because I think that's less confusing. So as you flick, as I do my flick gada, I can decorate with this hand. A classical decoration is a finger flick going outwards. With this hand held here, I'll explain why in a minute. So it would be flick bada, flick bada, flick bada, flick bada. This jar step is supposed to have come from sowing seeds in fields, and you'd be going back along the furrow, taking seeds out of the bag you're holding in the one hand and flicking them into the adjacent furrow, the one that you've already gone down, so you won't be treading on them now. The other thing people will often do is clap, in which case it would look like. Shag dancers sometimes clap high, even when they're doing this because they've had the high hand. Do what you like, of course, it's jazz. I'm just showing you some things that happen. So let me turn back round and I will go back to my original feet, so it'll always be on this side of the room that you're seeing the flicks for now, and try one of those hand decorations. We'll do the flick on the 8. 5, 6, 7, 8 for 1, 2 for 3, 4 for 5, 6 for 7. Once more. 5, 6, 7, 8 for 1, 2 for 3, 4 for 5, 6 for 7. Good. Let's now do it on the other foot. So it's going to be flicking the left this time and then left-right for the gada. 5, 6, 7, 8 for 1, 2 for 3, 4 for 5, 6 for 7. Let's do that again because changing feet can be confusing. 5, 6, 7, 8 for 1, 2 for 3, 4 for 5, 6 for 7. Good. Now, to get into this isn't one of those things where you finish a basic. This is something that kind of invades the space of a basic, whether we're an 8 count or in 6 count. Because we want our decorations to happen on the even beats, our ba, ba, da, 8 and 1, 2, 3, and so forth. We need this flick out to be happening on an even beat. If you think of the timing of shag, we go for our slows, we have something really useful happening because we go step, which is 1, flick, and the flick happens on the even beat. Or if we do a double flick, then it would be 1, 2. So the second of those flicks is on an even beat. So that will become the first of the first step of the boogie back. So instead of going, let me turn my back to you. Instead of going step, flick, step, flick, step, step, we could be going step, flick, step, flick, gadam, flick, gadam, flick, gadam, flick, gadam. And then we have our step, step at the end. Let me show you that again. So what I'm doing, I happen to use a 6 count. Let me reduce the confusion. I'm going to go to an 8 count. So my basic would be step, flick, step, 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 flick, step, step. But I'm going to put the boogie back bit at the end of that. So it's going to become step, flick, step, 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 boogie back, boogie back, boogie back, boogie back. And I'm ready again to start a new basic. Step, flick, step, 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 flick, step, step. Of course, if you're worried about this having broken the timing, how the 8s of your basics fit with the 8s of the music, you can do as many boogie backs as you want to get to the end of the phrase. You don't have to do 4. I'm using 4 just as a number for us to practice. But you can make it 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or however many you want to get to the end of the phrase. Okay? Let's try that together. So it's going to be, we're going to start an 8 count basic, but we're going to start the boogie back on the second of the slows. 5, 6, 7, and I happen to be waiting on my left foot and dropping on my right foot. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, flick, step, 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 boogie back, boogie back, boogie back, boogie back, step, flick, step, 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 flick, step, step. Let's try it on the other phase. So that is, we would be going step, and we're going straight into the boogie back. So we do it on the first slow, and therefore we'll be flicking this leg. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, boogie back, boogie back, boogie back, boogie back. And then we're ready to finish our step, flick, step, step, or our step, 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 flick, step, step. You can pick up. You have, I mean, there I was ready to drop on my left foot. I could again choose either to go into the, straight into the slows or do the quicks first. This is one of the reasons it's confusing to do this in partnership, because you're having to communicate not just, hey, we're doing boogie backs, but you're having to communicate a lot of decisions about relative beat. I should say, by the way, if you do this kind of stuff that can really alter move lengths when you've broken away from your partner, probably come back to your partner at the beginning of a verse, and before you actually start again, stop, freeze. So you both get the message, there's a reset happening here, and then you'd start on a very clear 1 at the beginning of the verse. We'll worry about that when we're partnered up, but I suppose I'm mentioning now to say, don't worry that with thoughts that, well, if I'm making all of these independent decisions, how the heck does my partner know where we are in the whole phrasing of all of the basics? They don't have to. There are ways of resetting when you come back together. So it's a non-problem. Right. Let's now try this on the other foot. So I will be waiting on my right foot, and we'll start off by parachuting this into the second slow. So let's do that together. Step, flick, step, 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 boogie back, boogie back, boogie back, boogie back, step, flick, step, 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 flick, step, step. And now, again, waiting on the right foot, ready to drop onto the left. Let's put it into the first slow. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, boogie back, boogie back, boogie back, boogie back, step, 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 flick, step, step. It would have been fine at the end if you went straight into step flick rather than step, step, step flick. As I said, totally your call. Let us practice this to music. 6, 7, 8.
Like Beelzebub at my ear. The words you speak aren't the same as the message. I'm getting loud and safer, like the ice cream man on my street. And all the while, you think you're clever, as if I couldn't keep my seat. Scheme and plot that number, till they come back right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Sunday comes the paper, with the headline out in true. You think you're gonna win me over? I think you better get up.
Okay, just because of something that happened in the music back then, I went into a jazz step which I don't normally associate with collegiate shag. I normally associate it with Lindy Hop, but it seemed such a natural thing to do at that point. I thought, why don't I slightly switch the class plan, and I'll teach that one now. So this is an old move that goes back to the dawn of Lindy Hop and is credited to George Snowden, who was quite a short man, and he danced with a very tall partner called Big B. And George Snowden did what I'm going to teach ridiculously low, way lower than my knees can manage, and to be honest, probably lower than yours can too. He was quite remarkable. And he used to go between Big B's legs doing this. We're not going to do that. But what we're going to do, the whole thing is going to look, but I'll break it down, it's going to look as a flick, dum 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 dum. There is quite a lot of illusion in this move, but let me break it down. The very first thing it does, I'm going to turn my back to you again. The first thing about it is it's a simple shuffle forward. It's going to be left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right on the balls of your feet. That is the front bit. If you watch me, my feet are straight. They are just going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. There is absolutely no element of the twist going on. That's a 1960s thing, decades later. Things are going to happen in this move that may get you into a bad habit of twisting in the middle of it. So I suggest sometimes you look down or look at a mirror and make sure that even when we've built the whole move, your feet are going completely straight. Otherwise, you're inventing a new move, which is, of course, your privilege, but you're missing out on the chance of learning the Shorty George. So, as we're doing that, as we're doing our left, right, and you need to have quite bent knees for this, as you put your left leg forward, tuck your right knee in as much as you can behind your left knee. So if I turn sideways to you, my left's gone forward and my right knee is tucking in behind it, so that they're almost in line, like that. My feet are still pointing forwards. So you can make this a small movement if your knees are objecting. Then as you put your right leg forward, tuck your left knee behind it, and then do it. Keep doing this. And that creates this illusion of sort of sideways knee bending, because one is tucking in behind the other all the time. But if you notice my feet, they are remaining straight. I'm not twisting them. Okay? With young knees, when you practice this, you may be able to go a lot further sideways than I can. But you get the idea. Don't overdo this. If you like this move and you want to be really good at it, build up to it slowly. By slowly, I mean over months. Let the muscles that stabilize your knees get used to it. The way I'm doing it's perfectly safe. But if you're going to go crazy with it, build up to it slowly. Okay. You can also decorate this with your hands. And the point, have your hands out, the classical, I mean you do what you like of course, but the classical decoration is to have your hands out by your sides pointing down. And as you put a leg forward, drop that shoulder and raise the other one, so that you're getting this effect. If I face you again, you're getting the effect of... And this magnifies what's going on with your body and makes it look even stranger. And then to come into this, the normal way, and by the way, everything I'm teaching you at the moment is straight Shorty George with no adaptation for shag at all. We'll worry about how we drop it into shag in a moment. What I'm explaining now is exactly the way I explain it around Lindy Hop and and jazz steps and things. To get in, flick your right leg. So it would be flick, it's a bit like a boogie back. You have your flick, in a boogie back, which we've just done, we had flick right, left. We have the same thing here, flick right, and the left goes forward with the right tucking in. So that left thing is the step that takes your left leg forward. So if we're going to start this flick on beat 2, for example, it would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's try that. Your weight's on your left foot before you start this, and you want to flick on beat 2. 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all we have to do to drop this into shag is to start it at any time that our right leg would naturally be doing a flick on an even numbered beat. I would say beat 2, but of course any even numbered beat will do. And of course that's what would normally happen in a slow. If I were any slow where I'm dropping onto my left foot, so for example, if I'm starting with the weight on my right and I'm about to do a regular basic in either 6 or 8 count, it doesn't matter, my first thing would be step, flick. 1, 2. That's got our flick on 2. So if I'm just starting a basic, I can go straight into this Shorty George. Step, flick, go dum, 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 dum. And now I've got this foot free to drop on to go into the other phase to finish the basic that I've never finished. So if I do this by kind of parachuting the Shorty George into an 8 count basic, it would be 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, flick, a shorty, 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 George. If we now think about coming out, so let me get in the same way. I would have done my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. I've got my weight on this foot on 1. So that's like the first of a quick on that one. So that would be 1, 2, and I can now drop on this for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so forth. So come out of this by finishing the quick that your very last shorty had begun, because the Shorty George ends on an odd beat, so you need to fill in the even beat. And I would just step on the other foot, which turns that effectively into a quick, and then you're ready to go again. That was a lot of words for what your body probably understands anyway. Let's try dancing it together. 5, 6, sorry, my weight's on this foot. 5, 6, 7, 8, step, flick, dum, 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 step, flick, step, flick, step. Of course you can do this for 6 count shag as well. I'm using 8 all the time in this lesson to be consistent, but use whatever your favourite is, use both. Let me put some music on and practice the Shorty George. The Shorty George is normally only done, I've never seen Shorty George done on the other foot. There's no reason it shouldn't be, but I haven't seen it done on the other foot. You can invent it. Oh, one other thing about Shorty George, there's also a hesitation Shorty George, which will go D, 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 D. That's stolen completely from the wonderful video clip Groovy Movie. If you haven't seen Groovy Movie, you really should. It's on YouTube. Okay, let me put the music on and let's just practice parachuting this in. 6, 7, 8.
Like Beelzebub at my ear. The words you speak aren't the same as your message. I'm getting loud and clear. You pass that loco reefer, like the ice cream man on my street. And all the while you think you're clever, as if I couldn't keep my feet. Scheming, plotting numbers till they come out right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
too much because I don't want you to get sore knees. So what I'm going to do now is put on the music again and dance so that you can add all of the things, or your favourite of the things, or your least unfavourite of the things that we've learnt today. So as a reminder, we had the chugs, we had the boogie back, and we had the Shorty George. Yes? As ever, I'm just going to be dancing along with you, but don't try to copy me. Partly I'm not trying to mirror, and partly really that the practice is doing this stuff for yourself.
Like Beelzebub at my ear. The words you speak aren't the same as your message. I'm getting loud and clear. You pass that loco river, like the ice cream man on my street. And all the while you think you're clever, as if I couldn't keep my feet. Scheming, plotting numbers, till they come out right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Sunday comes the paper with the headline out and true. If you think you're gonna win me over, I think you better get a clue. Like Beelzebub at my ear. The words you speak aren't the same as the message. I'm getting loud and clear. You pass that loco river, like the ice cream man on my street. And all the while you think you're clever, as if I couldn't keep my feet. Scheming, plotting numbers, till they come out right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Sunday comes the paper with the headline out and true. If you think you're gonna win me over, I think you better get a clue.
Okay, I shall stop there. I shall finish by showing a short video for which I can't give the proper credit, because I found it. One of my favourite television series when I was a teenager was one presented by James Burke called Connections, which is an examination of how change happens in the world. James Burke was an historian, but he didn't write like normal historians. He was interested in the way that tiny changes in technology made huge differences in the world. And he put together a very, very entertaining series called Connections, which is available still on the web, full of puns and things. And I discovered that it was available through the Wayback Machine on the web. And as well as watching Series 1, which is what I watched as a kid, I also watched Series 2 and 3, which were made in the 1990s. I didn't know anything about them. And in one of the episodes, he's talking about the very, very complicated chain of accidents that sort of resulted in the technologies that came together to make filming. And his example of filming is an example of swing dancers. And I've no idea where he got this particular film from, but they're dancing collegiate shag, most of them. So I'm just going to finish by showing you that little clip of completely unknown provenance to me, but I was quite excited when I saw it. Okay, Hope you have a good week. See you next time. Goodbye for now.
Baseplate. Those surges are a boosted reproduction of your input signal. Thanks to that accident I mentioned and Lee DeForest, you could hear all the Hollywood stars on the movies. Or your grandmother long distance, now phone signals could be amplified too. Or big band swing on the radio for the same reason, because radio signals got amplified too. Which was also the same reason you can hear what I'm saying now too, of course.